Hey everybody, what's up? This is WildStorm, Comic Reviews here, and today we're going to continue our adventures through the Kindred miniseries, one of four, created by Image Comics and WildStorm Productions. We're on issue 3 of 4, so we're close to being done, but the story just is going to keep getting better and better from here on out. So we got this cool image here of one of the Kindred. As I mentioned in my last issue, they're human-animal hybrids as a result of regular animals being tested on with this serum called the Genesis Serum, which evolved them from regular animals to human-animal hybrids. So because of the Genesis Serum, these regular animals became human-animal hybrids. We're actually going to dive a little more into that part of the story. But focus on the cover here for a minute. Now, got this cool looking Kindred here. You got the water dripping off of the teeth. Very, very cool. You don't really see art like this these days. I kind of wish we'd go back to this sort of 90s style, kind of, with the more detailed art, but it's pretty cool. Look at the eyes here. Look at how much detail there's in that. But anyways, we got this other cool part where he's holding Backlash's mask and then Grifter's mask, because again, this series stars these two characters. And, yeah, it's just pretty cool. Pretty cool cover. Okay, we open with our story, and we see BloodMoon from the last issue, who's like the leader of the Kindred, and he's talking to Lynch, and he's going, because your international operations organization who tested on us, basically who tested the Genesis, because of your international operations team who tested on us and then left us for dead on the island, you will now be executed, basically. So he's saying, basically, your international operations team tested this serum on us, turned us into animal-human hybrids, and basically just left us for dead. Like, you guys abandoned us. You either killed some of us off or you left us for dead. So now we're going to get revenge on you because you're like the head of international operations. It's basically what he's saying here. Really, really cool looking art here with the skull. Really cool design. Really cool looking, really cool design. Got Director Lynch here, kind of standing at his feet almost. And yeah, the pencils are by Brett Booth, and stories by Jim Lee, Brendan Choi, Brett Booth, Steve Ruffner, Ian Sauerbrey, pencils Brett Booth, and here's all the people who did it. WildStorm Productions here at the bottom, and we got Image. Yeah, Brett Booth is a really good artist. He's the one who drew that Backlash Spider-Man crossover that I have reviewed and ready to watch on my channel for those who are interested. But anyways, we got Lynch here. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. What did I do? And he goes, I will have my justice. The Kindred will have its justice. And one of the human-animal hybrids comes in. He's like, hey, sir, we found something. And he goes, I don't care for him. But then he's like, then this guy's like, oh, but they have like the same blood that we have. And so BloodMoon, the leader of the Kindred here, is like, okay, let me see who these guys are. And so this animal-human hybrid called Bromus, one of the Kindred, brings in Backlash and Grifter. Grifter is, cracking jokes, kind of like Spider-Man. We're having to swing in time between being chased by a giant bug people and beaten up by the Monkey Men. This palace is a regular Disneyland, and Backlash, being the more serious-oriented one, says, put a sock in it, Cole, and it's just a really good banter between the two characters. Perfect for this miniseries. We see BloodMoon here. He's getting ready to, he doesn't know who they are, but he's like, hey, have them reveal their mask, have them take off their masks so that they can see the pain that I'm about to endure on them. Then all of a sudden, he gets a flashback, and he finds out that he gets a flashback from his past about how he was once, BloodMoon was actually once in Team 7 along with Backlash and Grifter. So yes, BloodMoon was in fact a member of Team 7, as were Backlash and Grifter, which, as I mentioned before in previous reviews, Team 7 was a team created by International Operations. They were these soldiers, these tough military soldiers who were like injected with another serum similar to the Genesis serum that was tested on these animals, and they ended up developing superhuman abilities, like basically like telekinetic abilities. They could like move stuff with their mind, and they could like just do a lot of cool stuff. They had like really cool mind powers because of the fact they got tested on with a similar Genesis serum. So yeah, so he's getting the flashback. BloodMoon's like, I didn't know it was, I didn't think the culprits would turn out to be Cole Cash and the infamous Mark Slayton. And, Cole makes a joke going, looks like you've got a fan, Slayton. And he goes, yep, too bad, my hands are tied. I could sign him an autograph. And just some more funny banter. So BloodMoon's like, okay, send them away. Let them wait for trial by jury. And so then they're getting taken to their cells, but then Backlash and Grifter form a plan to take the guy out. Grifter trips the guy. And then we get this question scene where Backlash kicks him. Really cool stuff. And make sure to remember that Team 7 reference, because it's going to come back later in the story. Very important segment. Backlash and Grifter run off. They're trying to find a way to escape. Backlash is like, we got to find a way out of here. Grifter's like, it's useless. If you don't know a way out now, you're not going to find one. And then Backlash is like, okay, well, you can just go stay back there and get killed by those animal hybrids. And Grifter's like, oh, you still don't get it, old man. You still don't get it, old man. You're clueless. And so then Backlash, tries to get out of his cuffs. Grifter is able to easily get out. Grifter is easily able to get out of his cuffs because it was a trick that apparently one of his past lady friends taught him. So he's able to get out of the cuffs. Backlash helps Grifter up, and then Backlash is like, okay, now we're up here. You got to give me an explanation as to what is going on here. You gotta tell me what's going on, because Backlash still doesn't know really who the Kindred are or what they're up to. So Grifter kind of fills him in, and it's basically the same stuff I've already told you guys. Let's see, where's the... After what happened to all of us in Team 7, I did some... You can read it right here. I did some research. Seems the government ran a bunch of top secret experiments to unlocking superhuman potential back in the early 70s. There was a pretty big cover-up when Congress got wind of it. The facility was shut down, and all the subjects were supposed to have been disposed of. The animals, as I mentioned before, those are the things that were tested on. Yes, they missed a few of them. Yep, and then we get more explanation later. But characters end up getting caught, taken away by this kindred called Bromus. We get this really cool scene where BloodMoon's like, okay, our judicial system is a little more primal, so, Lynch, I definitely want to see you get killed, but, you have a chance to make it out of this by killing, some of these kindred. If you kill these kindred and you live, you can walk out of here scot-free, but if you die, you die. So, basically, Lynch has to fight his way out, and we get this cool scene. I want to pause on the art here for a minute, because I want to talk about this. So, look at how cool this art is. Look at this, wolf animal hybrid. Look at all the water, just the spit dripping from his teeth. Got the tongue here. Got this really cool, deep art design. Really detailed art design. Something that you don't get from Marvel and DC Comics. It's cool to see. That you would only really get back in Image from the 90s, And today, I've seen a couple Image comics. I'm not going to act like I'm an aficionado, but I've seen a couple of the modern Image comics, and the art just isn't as detailed as that. Which I'm not saying they're not good, but I just really like this detailed artwork here from the 90s. It's very detailed. It's very... If I were ever to draw comics one day, I'd like to have my art be as detailed as this, but I'd have to hire an artist, because I can't draw worth spit, so... But I love detailed artwork like this. Look at the blood just dripping off his fingers. It's so cool. Look at his hand, too. His hand's really well drawn. It's like a wolf-animal hybrid. It's just so cool. And then we got this thing here. It's really cool. And we got another spider creature. Look at how cool that is. All the little red eyes. See Backlash and Grifter in the background. Really, really neat. Grifter's like, Lynch can't take them all. Grifter's like, this is not even a fair fight. Lynch can't take on all these Kindred. He's going to die. There's like at least 3 of them out there. Backlash is saying to himself, like, yeah, he's right. There's no way he can take them down. And then the fight starts, and we get some cool dialogue, like, opening with a kick like that would kill a normal man. We get like really tough talk like that, and it's really cool. So, Lynch opens with like a karate kick of sorts. And he doesn't knock him down because the Kindred are like these very big, bulky animal human hybrids. So he jumps, he does his cool flying kick. The wolf animal hybrid does like this claw attack or slash attack with his claws. Blood's just going everywhere. Lynch falls backwards. Really cool scene. The sound he makes. And then the wolf guy pushes him backwards again. And so then he's like, Lynch is like, seems I've been going about this all wrong. Backlash is like, what's going on here? And basically what Lynch does is he taps into this this power that I guess Team 7, like I said before, Team 7, the story behind Team 7 is that International Operations, this government agency, injected them with a Genesis serum similar to the one that they tested on with the animals, and it gave Team 7 these military tough men with superhuman abilities, basically like telepathic abilities. But it also gave them some other powers as well, and one of the powers that Team 7 had also gained, which is referred to as a curse by the members who used to be part of that team, is called the Rush. And this is what Lynch is tapping into now, this secret buried power called the Rush that all Team 7 members have. And it makes them pretty much just invincible. Backlash actually describes it here. And the Rush, that's what the Team 7 members call the power the government cursed us with. Because International Operations is a government facility. I probably should have mentioned that beforehand. But they're a secret government facility. When we first manifested it, it was fantastic. The Rush made us nearly invincible, but the terrible price of the power... Sorry guys, but the terrible price of the power soon became evident, and most of us were forced to stop using it or go mad. After what the power did to him last time, Lynch is taking a heck of a chance using it now. So, obviously, the power, it's fun in use, but, like, it can easily, take over and drive you insane. But Lynch had to use it to beat the Kindred, and so he does. So he taps into the Rush, uses it, and just mops the floor with the Kindred in this really cool scene. The wolf guy's trying to go after him again, but the wolf guy Lynch fires a blast of that purple Rush energy, and he is able to easily take down the Kindred here. He fires the guy to death. Jeez, it's really, really cool. Goes who's next, and just fries more of them. Backlash and Grifter's reactions are pretty cool. Just slaughtering them all. You can see the screams here. It's cool. Just seeing, and then. So yeah, he basically uses his power, but then all of a sudden, like I said before, when, the Team 7 members, when they tap into the Rush, they have that invincible power for a few minutes or so, but then they eventually lose control of their minds and go mad, and that is what is happening here in this story, this issue. Grifter's like, and, Grifter's like, we got to stop this. And Backlash is like, why do you care about Lynch so much? And he goes, I don't. I'm here for my past love interest, Alicia. I don't care about Lynch at all. Which is, but then Grifter goes, hey, Mr. BloodMoon, you may want to let Alicia in. She's the only one who can really help Lynch out of his problem. And I'd said before, Alicia Turner, like most of the Team 7 members, I'll have she has a telekinetic powers or telepathic powers, and so she's able to like go into Lynch's mind and like calm him down and die down the rush that he has, his rush power. See, it slowly dies down. They're all, they're all there. Basically, Alicia goes, hey, Lynch went through your trial, your judicial trial. He survived. You might as well let us go. BloodMoon's like, ha ha ha, you humans amuse me. I'm not going to do that. And he jumps down. Really cool detail picture of BloodMoon here with a skull and the mask. Really, really cool stuff. Really cool. Detailed. Really, really cool. So yeah, BloodMoon's like, yeah, he won the battle, but the trials aren't done yet. Send out the other prisoners, and that's when Lynch finds out that Backlash and Grifter are here to save him. And something I didn't mention earlier is that I think Lynch knew some people were going to get him, but he didn't know it was going to be Backlash and Grifter, leading the charge. So when he finds that out, he's like, oh, this is cool. This is cool, I guess. We get this cool picture of Backlash and Grifter together. And this is where the story gets interesting. This is where the story really picks up its steam and goes. So we get the reveal of who BloodMoon is, and you're thinking, oh, it's just, he's the leader of the Kindred, right? So he's obviously a human-animal hybrid, a Kindred like the others. Well, no, he isn't. And as I mentioned before, he was a part of Team 7, along with Backlash and Grifter, which is the military team that was given that other form of Genesis serum in which they developed superhuman telepathic abilities. And here we get a poster of pinup of Team 7. Here we are. Like I said before, Team 7, I mentioned this tons of times. They were a group of military guys, as you can see here. Backlash, before he became Backlash. Colonel Mark Slayton. Cole Cash, before he became Grifter. And yeah, Team 7, like I said, they were these military guys of 7 who were really good at their jobs. They went on a bunch of top secret military missions for the government agency known as International Operations. They ended up getting tested on with this serum known as, with another form. They get tested on with this other form of the Genesis serum, where they end up developing superhuman abilities, mostly telepathic abilities. They just become these super military soldiers, basically. So yeah, cool picture. Maybe I'll dive into Team 7 story deeper some other day. We'll see. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But because I have all the Team 7 series too. So I feel like that's another book that people don't really talk about, which is unfortunate. But that's a cool photo nonetheless. Ad for Wetworks here. I'm not a huge Wetworks fan, so I'm not going to really go into that. Me personally, I know there's some people who are probably, but I'm not really a huge Wetworks fan. But then we get revealed that BloodMoon is in fact this guy named Robert Diaz. Robert Diaz has a very interesting story because everybody's shocked. It's like, can't be. I thought you died. I thought you were dead. Correction, Slayton, you left me for dead, and that's where we get into the interesting stuff, the real juicy meat of the story. Why it's still one of my favorite Image books. Robert Diaz reveals like I said before, he was a part of Team 7, and along with Cole, Grifter, and some other characters apart from the WildStorm universe that made up the Team 7. Here's Backlash here. Here's Cole. Basically, what's going on here is that this is a flashback that Robert Diaz BloodMoon is having back in his past, and Team 7 is on a mission basically trying to save some hostages. The Backlash is like, okay, let's keep going, let's lay down some fire. Backlash is basically saying, or at this point, Colonel Mark Slayton is saying, we got to keep laying down suppressing fire. These guys are getting too heavy. We got to keep laying down suppressing fire until one of our fellow Team 7 members, Michael Cray, can clear us a path. And Grifter's like, okay, we'll hurry it up, Slayton. These guys are getting really heavy. So they're laying down fire on these guys. So until a path can be cleared to where they can rescue the hostages. They're basically trying to rescue a bunch of hostages from these enemies here that they're trying to fight. And they're taking down as many enemies as they can, but they're also waiting for a path to open up so that they can rescue the hostages and meet their rendezvous point at the right time. So they're doing that. You see Robert Diaz here is trying to protect one of the hostages. You know, they're saving some hostages. One of the bad guys tries to shoot one of the hostages, and Diaz actually gets in her way and sacrifices his life for hers. The hostage is shocked, and Diaz is left there lying, bleeding out on the ground. And Backlash is like, okay, we gotta go. We've shot a lot of the enemies, and thankfully Cray was able to open up a point where we could get out of here. So we gotta leave. You know, we gotta meet. Basically, we have to meet our rendezvous point before the copter leaves and we're stranded here. You know, because, you know, Team 7, we don't want to be stranded here. Yes, we want to rescue the hostages. You know, we want to kill the bad guys, but we don't want to be stranded here. So we have to meet our rendezvous point on time. That's Backlash's whole priority. And here's where the contrast starts. Grifter's like, okay, yeah, rescue the hostages, but we can't just leave our fellow Team 7 member here. We can't just leave him here to die. You know, he sacrificed his life for this hostage, and you're just going to leave him here to die? And Backlash is like, dude, we don't have time for this, Grifter. We have to get out of here. We have to rescue these hostages, and we have to meet the rendezvous point on time, or we're not going to make it out of here. We'll be stranded here. Do you get that? We'll be stranded here if we don't meet that rendezvous point. And so they basically, Backlash leaves Diaz for dead. Like, he leaves him for dead. Diaz sacrificed himself for the hostage, and his reward is that he gets left for dead by his fellow team members. Mainly Backlash. Grifter actually wants to save him. That's why I like Grifter, because he's tough like other gunslingers. Like, Grifter is tough like other gunslingers you've seen in comics before, but he also has like a nice heart, you know, like Spider-Man does. So that's why I've always liked him. Backlash is like, no, no. It's like, yeah, it's a casualty to leave Diaz here, but we have to meet our rendezvous point. You know, like, why should we risk our lives to save one soldier, even though he's a part of our team? So, Backlash, you could argue you could argue with this scene that Backlash has a selfish viewpoint, and in my opinion, I think he does. I would have done what Grifter would have done here, and I would have saved him because he's a member of our team. It's like one of those no man left behind things. But you can also argue that if they would have saved Diaz, they could have missed their rendezvous point. They could have all been stranded here. So it's a very interesting. It kind of makes you think a little bit. Although I personally would have sided with Grifter, regardless, because, or at least I think I would. I've never been in any war, so I can't say for certain. But to leave Diaz stranded here, even after he made that sacrifice, to me seems a little selfish to leave him here to bleed and die. But they also had to meet the rendezvous point in time, so you can kind of see the contrast between the two characters. But anyways, Diaz is like, okay, so now you know why I want revenge on not just Lynch, but you and Grifters, because you guys basically, for the most part, Backlash basically just, Backlash more in particular, you stranded me in South America and left me to die. You didn't save me. And the Backlash tries to debate his argument where he goes, you knew the situation I was in. I had no choice. We barely got those hostages out of there as it was. He's basically saying, I had no choice to leave you behind. Yes, it sucks, but I had to get those hostages out of there. You know, where Grifter's like, you have time to save him. You could have gone back to save him, but again, Backlash was like, no, we have to meet the rendezvous point now, or we'll be stranded here. You know, I get that you sacrificed your life and everything for that hostage, and you're dying out and you're bleeding, but we have to, make it out of here on time, or we're all going to be stranded here. And that's basically Backlash's argument. Of course, Diaz didn't really take well to that, so he, sends this bear creature to go after Backlash, and they end up going in this really cool fight. So Backlash into fighting this bear creature. We get like a really cool battle here. Backlash throws in a few good punches. The bear also does too, and he goes like, is that all you got? Really long claws. He needs to get a trimmer or something. You know, he swats back at Backlash. Backlash is like, you ain't seen nothing yet, bud. And he does this cool little jump, kick. Backlash does this cool little side kick. It's hard to see. You can see the bear's face here. Backlash is able to distract him. What he's doing here is Backlash is distracting him with the kick so that he can then go down and kind of crack his legs here. So he's able to knock him down. Backlash, a.k.a. Colonel Mark Sladen, was a soldier in Team 7, so he has like a lot of cool soldier fighting techniques and tactics. Knocks him down. Is about to jump on him again to beat him up. Bear throws in a really good punch though before he's able to... He makes a jump, and he's about to pound more on the bear, but the bear is able to lift his fist up and beat him to it. Backlash falls back. Bear's like, is that all you got? And, you know, gets some funny banter like... Game's over, Teddy. Now we end this. So we will. I'm impressed, Outlander. No one has ever knocked me on my back before. And then Backlash goes, funny. That's what your mother said, making kind of an inappropriate joke, but it's funny nonetheless. And the bear, attacks him again. Picks up Backlash and declares his victory. Get this really cool last shot of the bear holding up Backlash. And that's how the book ends. Really, really good issue. This might be my favorite issue because I like how it dives into... Of course, the art is really good here with the bear, with the wolf that I showed earlier. Like, look at those claws. I like the revelation, though, with Diaz and how he explains why he wants revenge. He explained why he wants revenge on Lynch, as I've said before, but why he wants revenge on Backlash and Backlash and Grifter, who Backlash is also... Colonel Mark Sladen. That Colonel Mark Sladen is Backlash's human alias, and Backlash is Colonel Mark Sladen's superhero alias. So, and, same thing for Cole and Grifter. Cole Cash is the human alias for Grifter. Grifter is the human alias for Cole Cash. So yeah, and so I like how it explains how they're trying to fight off these bad guys. And they're trying to rescue these hostages, but they only have a certain amount of time to get to the point where they gotta get on the copter and get out of here. And while they're doing that, Diaz sacrifices his life for this one hostage, where the hostage could have died. And he does such a noble sacrifice, but all Backlash is concerned about is meeting that point to get out of there, to get out of. I think they're in South America. He just wants to get out of South America with these hostages and get on the copter. But Grifter's like, hey. We can't just leave our friend here, our teammate, to die. That's wrong. Like as I said before, that's what I like about Grifter, is that he is a tough gunslinger. But he's not cold-hearted like, say the Punisher or something. He also has a kind heart about him, and he cares about his friends. But Backlash is like, no, we got to get out of here. Yes, it sucks that Diaz is left to die, and it's a casualty, but there's nothing we can do about it. We have to meet our deadline to get these hostages out. So there's a cool little contrast here. You perfectly understand why Diaz wants revenge. And that's why I think Diaz is like a really good villain, and why I think this story is really good. It's because you understand, you can sympathize with Diaz. You understand why he's like this and why he's angry. They could have made him just a real big, cheesy bad guy, which I love those types of bad guys, I really do. But I like how they gave him a little background story to give him more character. He sacrificed himself for a random hostage, and he just gets left to die by his teammates. Like, that sucks. You get why he's upset and mad, particularly at Backlash, because Backlash is the one who was kind of calling the orders and the shots here. But really good book, really good artwork. Probably my favorite issue, and we have one more issue to go, and that'll be the end of this Kindred miniseries. I hope you guys have enjoyed this journey along with me. I like reviewing these types of comics, and that's one of the reasons why. And I'm gonna make a video about that soon. But reason why I started this channel was to shine more light on comic books that I just don't think get a lot of light shown on them. You know, it's always Marvel and DC and characters that people think are obscure, but they're not really that obscure. But these characters, in my opinion, are obscure, and nobody talks about them, and it's a shame. It always kind of bugged me that nobody talked about Backlash or Grifter, characters that I got really into that were obscure, but nobody really ever talked about. So, but that's the end of the Kindred issue 3. I hope you guys enjoyed my review. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I know I talk fast. It's kind of hard to understand me, but hopefully there's a function on YouTube to where you can slow what I'm saying down. But hope you guys have a good day, and this has been WildStorm Comic Reviews signing off. Have a good day.